My Line. Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who give you the widest choice of cereals in the whole wide world. All the great grains in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Ladies and gentlemen, and once again, it's a pleasure to welcome back our British cousin, the charming Mr. Eamonn Andrews.
Well, each year I come to New York, my friends on What's My Line grow more charming, more erudite, and more lovely. The ladies anyway. So if you need proof of that, meet again your friend, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now a gentleman who has flown all over the far west and conquered it comes home to us, and we're very grateful, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Here's the Noah Webster of the television channels and the pin-up boy of every sorority house in the United States, John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What's My Line and panel. Welcome to you, too. We have some very interesting occupations with some very nice guests attached to them tonight. And we'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel. A little bit later in the show, we'll meet our first challenger after meet our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Gwen? Gwen Falkenberg, right? Miss or Mrs. Falkenberg? Mrs. Falkenberg, and where are you from?
Overland Park, Kansas.
Overland Park, Kansas.
Yes.
Well, it's nice to have you with us, Mrs. Falkenberg. The panel, Mrs. Falkenberg, will you join me over here now, please? Tell me, are you familiar with the way we keep score?
Yes, sir, I am.
Well, good for you. Now, you know how we keep score, so there's nothing much left to do before we put the panel on the griddle, but to let the folks at home and those who've joined us in the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, Mrs. Falkenberg is self-employed. Let's begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mrs. Falkenberg, can we eliminate the possibility of there being any relation of Jinx Falkenberg?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
You can. If I may get personal, Mrs. Falkenberg, do your extremely good looks have anything to do with the job that you do? Do they help you along in the job that you do?
Thank you, no.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work indoors more than outdoors, Mrs. Falkenberg?
Yes.
Would you say that your job required more brains than brawn?
Yes.
Is it work that could be enjoyed by both men and women? I mean, the result of your work.
Yes.
Anyone on the panel could use your services?
Yes.
Is there a product involved in what you do?
No, there is not.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Well, Mrs. Falkenberg, when you came in, I was admiring your handwriting, which was very
You were the only
I really
man on
was.
the panel who was.
Just like Bennett, Cerf. But quite seriously, I was, and I just wondered if your job calls for a great deal of precision or artistry.
You mean as a matter of the calligraphy itself, whether the letters have to be precisely taken when they are put down
No, I
to
don't mean
paper?
that. No, I don't mean that, John, at all. I mean, I was just using the elegant calligraphy as an indication that perhaps the other sphere of her work did need some artistry.
Artistry. Thank you very much. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss President.
Mrs. Falkenberg, do people come to you for your services?
Yes, they do.
Are they better off as a result of your services?
I hope so.
Sometimes, certainly.
Do you need special training for what you do?
Yes.
Is there something added to your name, like MD or PDQ or one of those?
Or a telephone number?
Yes, there is. Are you by any chance in the profession of doctors?
No, I'm not.
No.
That makes 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, if we eliminate doctors, the next logical step, of course, is the law. Have you any connection with the law?
Yes.
Gosh, what a waste of beauty. Are you a lawyer?
Yes, that's it. Your trouble is that you're not only beautiful, but you look so intelligent.
Oh.
You shouldn't do that. Mrs. Falkenberg, by the way, is the sister of Marilyn Van Derber, who is
Miss
the present
America.
Miss America, and you can see how that happened. Recently, Mrs. Falkenberg has joined the law firm of Henry and Anderson in Overland Park, which will be known in the future, I am sure, as Henry and Anderson and Falkenberg. Right?
Well, that would be much to be hoped for.
Well, can't miss. Thank you very much for being our guest. We had them in trouble for a little while, but next time, more trouble for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Well, that was a pretty beginning, to coin a word or two. Let's see what you can do with the second challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Peter J. Lo Magistro? What? Is that right? Yes. Peter J. Lo Magistro. And Mr. Lo Magistro, where are you from?
I'm from Elmwood, Long Island.
Elmwood, Long Island?
Enwood, Long Island.
Enwood, Long Island. Fine. Well, I think perhaps then you're almost a neighbor to the panel, but
That's correct.
meet the panel, if you will. And panel, will you meet Mr. Lomagistro? No, you don't have to go see them. You know how we keep score, Mr. Lomagistro?
That's
Sit you down
right.
right. You want to sit over where I am? Or
That's
doesn't make any difference to me. All right, then let's let the folks in the audience and our friends at home know what your line is. Panel, Mr. Lomagistro is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Eamonn Andrews.
Well, do you mind if I call you Peter?
Right.
You look a very happy sort of a character. Do you, in a kind sort of person, do you deal in services at all?
I do.
Well, I'm glad you said, because last week I asked a charming lady the same question, got a 6-page no from John, haven't been seen since. These services that you perform, to borrow a line from Dorothy or Arlene, would I enjoy them?
Definitely.
And could you do these services for either of the 2 young ladies in the panel?
I most certainly could.
Now I know why you look so happy to do these services for either the ladies or for myself. Would you have to touch any one of us?
I would not.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
You work for a profit-making organization as long as you have all this fun, don't you, Mr.
Correct.
Lomagistro? Yes?
That's true.
Do these people come to you for your services?
They do.
You don't have to solicit them?
Oh, no.
Yes, he does.
They search you out, do they? If they want you, they find you.
Actually, I'm afraid, Arlene, you have made that question so particular by using the phrase search you out that I must, in all fairness to the panel and to our guest, give you a no. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
All right.
Mr. Lomagistro, I don't think we've established whether you work indoors or outdoors, have we?
No.
Is your work done more outdoors than indoors?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Down indoors.
Going to get 1 yes. Do you work in an enclosure?
I do.
Is it on the ground rather than at sea or in the air?
Right.
your hands at all in your work?
I do.
If you don't touch the people who come to you, do you touch some things?
I do.
Are they something amusing?
Correct.
Do they move about?
Do what move
The things
about?
he touches.
The things he touches?
No.
Are you now meaning move from one place to another?
No, just do they move or vibrate or shake or rattle or roll or...
Well, I would say that if you will accept that almost anybody who makes use of some inanimate object in performing a service may make some part of it move slightly, then things move about. But if you mean it in another context, then you would have to tell us about it.
All right. Are these things solid rather than liquid?
The things that move about?
The things he touches. The things that Peter, if I may call you Peter, touches, are they solid? Ma'am?
They are.
Okay. Are they not electrified?
Do you mean by not electrified, does he get an electric shock if he touches them?
Or are they
Or does
just
he-
something that you can have around without having it plugged in and it's still working?
What? Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm, that's fine, yeah.
Oh,
Say
it's
no,
electric.
loud and clear.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Well, I don't know where I am. I mean, the things bump around in the nights, and you got Arlene no for not searching him out. So, and yet people come to you. This confuses me, son. You're in an enclosure. Perhaps the enclosure moves around. Perhaps you have some sort of a vehicle or transportation that offers a service to people, and they come to you in the vehicle.
Is that your question, Eamonn?
The way you're looking at me, I don't think it should be my question.
Well, it is. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
May I rule out that anything of Mr. La Magistro's is animate?
Anything of Mr. I don't know, he may have
That
some-
he deals with?
Well, you mean outside of people?
Yes, I mean, whatever it is, Dorothy substantiated the fact that he deals with something, that he
That's-
touches something.
That something which he touches is inanimate.
Is inanimate.
Yes.
Is there something that you touch? Is it something you give to somebody else?
The thing that he touches, is that something he gives to somebody else? No, the thing that he touches is not something he gives to somebody else, right?
That's
6
correct.
down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf. I'm going to give you 1 more minute.
Are you
because
being a
don't seem
bit
to get-
tricky, John? Is the thing that Peter touches applied to someone else? Some kind of an instrument or weapon or titillating thing that is applied to somebody else?
Well, I would say this, that there is an element of application here in the performance of the service insofar as it's necessary for Peter to have contact with the inanimate something which moves that he touches.
That helps a lot. Is your work in the field of either athletics or entertainment?
Entertainment.
Thank you.
Peter, what am I going to do here?
Do people pay to see you, Peter?
They do.
They do. Does what you do require dexterity, physical dexterity?
It does.
I think since we must accept, Peter, that the question here would require a degree of dexterity above and beyond the norms of normal application, we'll give him a no. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work in New York City?
I do.
Here again now, Dorothy, I just don't want you to be misled. Now, what do you mean by New York City?
You include
You mean the
You want the truth?
Yeah.
I meant Manhattan, but I suppose it includes greater New York, all the boroughs. Is that what you mean, Peter? I'll accept that.
Yes, you got it.
All right. Do you work in any sort of an amusement center or amusement park?
I do.
Well, is it one of those things where there are pinball machines and pokerino and you put dimes in and nickels?
Where
and
I
things?
work?
Yeah.
No.
That's fine. That's I'm going to give you 15 seconds to see if you can get it.
Well, he sounds to me like a professional pickpocket.
A professional pickpocket?
Yeah.
That's 9 down and 1 to go.
Does he have something to do with, like the tunnels of love and those things at Palisades Park? No. I'm romantic.
You're getting close now, but we've run out of time.
Blows the wind on people.
Actually, Mr. Lamagistro operates what they call a skirt-blowing machine at the Rockaway Playland Amusement Park, and that's where you can find him if you wish to search him out. There you go. Thank you very much, Peter. We had loads of fun. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first here is a word from our alternate sponsor. We come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends in the panel are blindfolded. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You will ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Would you qualify as anything in addition to being an actor or actress? Professionally, I mean.
Well, I think so.
Mr. Andrews?
I think you must be an actress, but you sent the audience into raptures, and this is usually reserved, apart from What's My Line, for singers. Do you sing?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Miss Francis?
You sung in pictures?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
You are a girl, aren't you?
Well, I think so.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you married to a singer?
No, I'm not.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Do you appear on a regular television show as a singer?
No, sir, I don't.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Have you appeared in clubs?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you got a husband who is a comedian?
No, I don't.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you appearing professionally anywhere in New York at the present time?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Andrews?
Have you ever appeared in London?
Yes, sir.
Miss Francis?
Have you recently made a return?
You bet your little old cotton picking life.
Mr. Cerf?
Are you appearing in a legitimate play on Broadway at the present time?
No, sir, I'm not.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you playing at a nightclub in the 60s?
In the 60s.
No, I'm not.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Andrews.
My goodness, the 60s. I never go out late at night. Have you appeared in musical comedy?
Yes, sir, I have.
Miss
Oh.
Francis?
Didn't Maurice Chevalier just make the statement that you're one of the finest performers he's ever seen, and aren't you Betty Hutton?
Yes. Miss Betty Hutton, indeed, and I must rush to explain, panel, because you're not yet aware of it, but Miss Betty is now playing at the Café de Paris, or do they say Café de Paris in New York?
Café de Paris for some peculiar
Café de
reason.
Paris, which is in, by the way, the reason you got, it's Broadway in 53rd.
53rd,
So it's not in the 60s. And actually, Miss Betty was performing tonight and didn't have time to change, so that she's in costume, which
Let's
is...
see it.
Well, you will in a minute. You will in a minute now. And we do thank you very much. You've Got such a lot to do and such a busy gal.
Well, I thank you for asking me over. The last time you had me was for the hospital, and I appreciate that very much. And Dorothy, I want to thank you very much for your lovely write-up. I appreciate that very much. It's been a wonderful time back in New York. Thank goodness the critics were good to me this time, Bennett.
Well.
Thank you very much.
May they always be that.
Thank you,
You
darling.
deserve it. Contestant after this word from our sponsor. Well, let's see what we can do with the final contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Gerda Einbock, right? Miss Einbock, and where are you from?
From Vienna, Austria.
From Vienna. How nice to see you. Miss Einbach, the panel. Miss Einbach, will you come over here with me now, please? Tell me, coming all the way from Vienna, do you know how we keep score?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Well, that's wonderful. Then let's everybody at home and our friends here in the audience in the theater.
I watch your show very often, so I know about
Oh,
it.
good. Fine. Just drop the curtain. We'll see you all later. Let's let everybody at home and the folks in here know exactly what your line is, huh? Miss Einbach is self-employed. Let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Miss Einbach, you look marvelously healthy. Does what you do keep you out of doors at all?
Yes.
Does it have anything at all to do with the sports world?
Yes and no. Mm-hmm.
Could you be found ever on or near water in your job?
Yes.
Would anybody be ecstatic to be rescued by you?
I would think if they were rescued by Miss Einbach in the specific identification she has here, they'd be most happy about it, yes. They would, really.
Well, then it hasn't anything to do with what I was thinking. Do you wear clothing unlike the clothing you have on now in your job, Miss Einbach?
Yes, I wear different.
Uh-huh. Would it possibly be anything like a diving outfit or a swimming outfit of any kind?
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Oh, it would not be a swimming suit at all, Miss. You say Fräulein Einbach or Miss Einbach?
No, not a swimming suit.
But what you do is on or near the water.
Yes.
Would it be a uniform of any kind, Miss Einbach?
Well, you mean beyond the degree of it being other than normal street clothes, a specific uniform?
Well, it would be some kind of an identifiable uniform which would enable the listener, the onlooker to know what
No, you've had it. Goodbye. Nice to see you. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, let's get straight the difference between on or near the water. You are not in the water, may we assume?
I could be.
Yes, you could. Under some circumstances, could be.
And she wouldn't be wearing a swimsuit or anything identifying?
No, that
she
would make
gets
it 3
right
down.
in?
3
Right
down.
in the water?
Now, actually, we've unhappily run out of time, so we'll flip all the cards. This was tough, but you were slowly working your way to it. You will understand, Dorothy, why the swimsuit would be absent, because Miss Einbach is a crocodile hunter, and you don't go hunting crocodiles in swimsuits. Just isn't right. And you get the first one. I'm sorry we didn't have more time. Miss Einbach has been hunting crocodiles in Australia, is now going to New Guinea to look for some. What, dear?
I'm sorry, but when we asked her what she wore, she said nothing.
That'll be all, please. Sure. And on that unhappy note, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy Kilgallen.
And I call that a uniform. Good night, Eamonn.
And good night, Arlene.
Good night, Eamonn. And I'll be seeing you in the crocodile country. Good night.
Next week, our panelists are going to dress like Miss Einbach. Good night.
Looking good night.
Transportation for contestants on What's My Line is arranged by American Airlines. What's My Line is a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS Television Network.